welcome to this week's DI How Do I webinar series. I'm Shawnee Avery Scott, your training evangelist, and y'all know my job here is to bring you amazing information and talent and show you the wise ways of the digital marketing world in the automotive industry. I just made that up just now. So, as always, I have a guest host, usually have an amazing guest host. Sorry, Ed. Today we do not have the setup since Allyn left us. Allyn left us to dip his toes in the water, so don't have the setup today. But I'll see what I can do. I'm sure Allyn's going to talk for a while, and I can sneak out for just a second. So I will try to get rid of the wicked echo. In the meantime, let's talk about Allyn. Allyn, go ahead to the next. Go ahead to your slide, buddy. Look at him. Look at that guy. So yeah, the Sandbox for Suckas, link building done right. And Allyn is going to talk to us all about, all the different ways to create link, whether it's link acquisitions, link building, deep links, which is not in the back room of that CD video store. Deep links is actually a thing, and it's not even dirty. So he's going to tell us all about that. Thank you, Allyn. Welcome.
Thank you, Shawnee. All right. So just so you guys know, the term sandbox is kind of an SEO term where you get banished to the sandbox. There's a lot of terms, old school terms like that, so that's why we use that. And thank you for using a good picture of me with my beautiful gray hair on there. I like that. All right. We always like to start with a little trivia, so you guys can put in the comments, what movie is this picture from, and how does it relate to link building? So I don't know what the prize will be at the end, but maybe a shout out to my 5 Instagram followers.
The prize is our love and affection. That's the prize.
No, the love and affection. Good. We got plenty of that. Just trust me. After we get going in this webinar, there'll be a lot of love and affection. So, what is the movie, and how does it relate to link building? The title of the movie relates to link building. So that's the trivia question. All right, here we go. Okay, there are essentially 2 types of links, and you can put, wow, you put like all kinds of animation in here and stuff. That's really cool. I don't do it, by the way, if these slides are pretty at all, it's because Shawnee did it. I don't do anything pretty. All right, so there are 2 essential types of links. There's an internal link and an external. So you have internal links all over your websites now, right? If somebody's on a page about hours and directions, then you have an internal link that says, by the way, you might also want to view inventory, and the words view inventory link inside your website. We're not going to talk too much about internal links today. We're going to talk mostly about the other kind, which are called external links, also known as backlinks. And I know that everyone, I was just on a call actually today with a client, and they got one of these emails that said, we'll get you 1,000 backlinks for $2. So it's one of those things you hear quite often. And if you're not familiar with a link, it's typically the blue text like you see here in this box, where the 2015 Chevrolet Colorado links to the website of Cox Chevrolet. And what's on the other side of that is exactly what the link tells you. It's 2015 Colorado. So that's what we're talking about today, external links. Right. So what really matters are, I'm hearing background noise, so I'm not everybody.
Yeah, hold on. Let me mute everybody here. All right, should be good to go.
Yep. Okay. So what really, you took out one of my pictures out of this one, didn't you?
Nope. Just keep going.
All right. Messing me up with all this. All right, there it is. Okay. So here's the things we're going to go over. Do follow versus no follow links, anchor text. By the way, we kind of have to define links before I can tell you how to get them. And I'm going to tell you how to get them all throughout, too. We're going to look at do follow versus no follow, anchor text, sending website authority, sending website relevance, on-page text relevance, in-content versus site-wide links, general mentions as links, and then how to get links. And then we're going to talk about the humans. So stop right here and understand, if you've done any type of SEO studies ever in your life, whether it's 5 years ago internet and before, or the current internet or the current web, you've heard the word natural link profile. And what that basically talks about is all of the links that you have coming to you should be natural. In other words, they should happen naturally. They should not be manufactured. And when we talk about that, these days, we more talk about keyword or link balance. The reason I want to stress that is because before webmasters became as savvy as they are, let's talk about when I was first on the internet, 1995, 96, 97. We would all link to each other because we were the only games in town. There weren't even automotive websites really in 96, 97. But there was a few of us out there that had websites. And what we would do is there wasn't a lot of other webmasters or guys or gals that did what we did. So we would link to them naturally because we were like, wow, check out this dude. He's cool. He just built this awesome site. And we would link to them naturally because we were just cool with each other. Well, then the internet started getting bigger and businesses started joining and it became a thing and Google came along. And so now people started to game that because Google used links as a source of authority. The more links you had, that meant that you must be pretty important, so you would show up higher in organic search. And webmasters started to game that. And that's when the word natural came out. So old school link profiles were always natural. Nowadays, there's really no such thing as a natural link profile because it's very rare that somebody is going to link to a car dealership naturally, okay, in most cases. So when we talk about link acquisition, we want to use the word balance. And we definitely never want to use a word like buy a link or anything like that because that is definitely going to get you. I will tell you this. You can get natural links, though, nowadays. They're not as easy as they used to be in 97 and 98. But you can still obtain natural links. It happens through good content. So I'm going to take you here to this page here, which is an actual natural link that one of our clients got on Autoblog. And there is nobody on this call that wouldn't want a link from Autoblog. And what it is we wrote a speculative article about the Nissan Leaf, and this author here, Sebastian Blanco, found that, and he linked to it to our client. I don't remember which one of these links it is, but it's one of these here. He linked to our dealership. So because he did, we were able to, right there it is, the new Leaf will come in 2 battery packs. That link right there, you can see down here on the left, is a natural link to our client. And that's because we had some speculative articles. We were the first to the party, basically, so we earned the link. So you can still get natural links. It's just a little bit more rare, but super good content is one way to do it. I will talk about other types of content strategies that will help you gain natural links. All right, so let's talk then about do follow versus no follow. What does that mean, and does it matter now? So again, back in the day a few years ago, we used to want to get links from sites that had high Google page rank. Another term we used to use is juice. Let's get a link from a site that's got a lot of juice, Google juice. And so what we would do is we would look for sites that had high authority that we could gain a link on. And then obviously people would start gaming that, and so then what happened is Google came out with the rel no follow. And what no follow means is I'm going to give you a link, but I'm going to put no follow on there, which means don't send the juice. So basically what that meant is if I was a webmaster and I had a website and I needed to link to an advertiser who had paid me for advertising on my site, which is very common, I did not want that link to pass juice because the advertiser essentially paid me to put the ad on my site. But Google realized, well, we can't stop people from buying ads on websites. That's a natural thing. That's advertising. But we also don't want to pass the juice, and we don't want to penalize them for that. So they created the term no follow. So on the web are no follow, which means you have the link, and humans can click the link and follow it, but it does not carry the Google juice with it. And then you have do follow, which are supposed to be the natural links that do carry the juice. Here's what I will tell you. Nowadays, I don't care. I don't care if it's do follow. I don't care if it's no follow. All I really want is the exposure. So no follow, do follow doesn't matter anymore. Next, let's talk about the anchor text. So the anchor text is the actual words that you see in blue. And the anchor text matters. Think about Google, and you guys are realizing probably already, I talk about Google like it's a human. And when Google looks at a link, the blue text, the words that are hyperlinked with that link mean something. So for example, if I want to rank for 2015 Chevy Colorado, if the actual link is in blue are the words 2015 Chevy Colorado, that's a signal to Google about what's on the other end of that link. So anchor text matters. Well, then spammers came in and they started to do what's called over-optimizing anchor text, because we realized not only do links make us rank higher, but the anchor text of the link makes us rank higher. So what would happen is, and I keep saying back in the old days, and that's not that long ago, but it is well long ago, we used to go and get thousands of links for a client. If they wanted to rank for 2015 Chevy Colorado, then we would get thousands of links, all of them with the anchor text 2015 Chevy Colorado. Google's algorithm now will penalize you for that. That's called over-optimization of anchor text, and it's a negative thing. Why? Because it's obviously not natural. So what does that mean? If you look at your anchor profile, it should be like what you see on the right here. And by the way, I use a software called Ahrefs, ahrefs.com, and I'll show it to you in another slide, to find all of this information. If you want to sign up there, it's a great tool. But what your anchor text should mostly be is your URL, which you see here on the right, and then your name, your brand. That is really what the most of your links should be, because that's natural, right? The other thing that you're going to get a lot of is click here or visit website and things like that. That's fine. Those are all very natural things that when somebody links to you, they would put go to Cox Chevy and they would use your, or they would put click here. By the way, if you ever want to impress someone at a party like I do, the answer to this question will be an interesting one. What is the most used anchor text on the internet? Does anyone know? Put it in the comments. What's the most anchor text used on the entire internet? Anybody want to guess? I'll give you 30 seconds. Eric got it right. Click here. That's exactly right. Click here is the most used anchor text on the entire internet. Next time you see me at a party, if you can give me that, you will definitely be my best friend. Let's use another one. Another cool, fun thing. This number 9 here on the right, 2009 Chevy Malibu, made Kiplinger's best used car list, and then a pipe sign. This is called the pipe, in case you're ever wondering, and then Cox Chevrolet. What that is that's called a boilerplated link. If you've ever been on a website that you're reading, and then at the bottom of it, it'll say, here are some related links, and they're like a title from another website in the first sentence of the website. That's called boilerplating, and what they're doing is they're just pulling in feeds from typically WordPress sites, and they're boilerplating the links. Boilerplate links they're also on your website, by the way. Boilerplate links are all over your website. The home, in the top home or inventory, those are all boilerplate links. Those carry almost no value anymore. So if you see these boilerplate links in your link profile, don't worry about it. They don't hurt you or help you really anymore. All right. Next one. All right, so let's talk about the next thing that's important, and that's the sending website's authority. So not only do you want to get links, but you want to get them from authoritative sites. If you get links from, what those spammers, by the way, that tell you they'll get you 2,000 links for $2, they're going to get you a bunch of garbage links on no authority sites. Not low authority, but no authority. Those do you no good, and they can actually hurt you. You want to get links from websites that have authority. So what do we mean by authority? The things that make a website authoritative, number one is its age. Google looks at how long a website's been live on the internet, and they understand the history of that. It's just like us. If I'm going to ask someone for advice on dating, am I going to ask a 5-year-old or a 55-year-old that's been married for 25 years? Obviously, the older guy that's been married 25 years is going to have much better marriage advice than a 5-year-old kid. That's exactly how Google wants to do it when they send people to websites. They want to send people to the best answer for their query, period. Otherwise, people stop using Google, right? So they have to judge what websites are the most authoritative that we can answer these questions when somebody's looking for something. Well, if you're going to get a link to you, then you would want to get one from an authoritative website, and the older the domain, the more authority it should have, because it's trusted, it's wise, it's been around for a while. And I will tell you this, the internet as we know it today is literally 20 years old. So a 10-year-old domain has a lot of authority. A brand new one has none. And that's another reason we use the term sandbox, by the way. If you put your website on a brand new domain that's never been live on the internet, you're going to be in what we call the sandbox for several months before you really show up for anything because you have no trust. All right, next. What else is the website's backlink profile? So if I'm getting a link from a website, the things that will make that website authoritative are its age as well as who links to it. So this goes back to, I'm trying to use something here to help you understand. If I wanted to go to a doctor for advice, would I go to a kid right out of medical school that has absolutely, only has his degree and that's the only link that he has showing me he is a doctor? Or would I go to someone that's got all kinds of fellowships from like the Mayo Clinic and he's got all these different endorsements from places that I know are medically inclined. Those places have all endorsed him. I think that his advice would be better than the kid that's right out of medical school, even though they're both doctors. Well, that's exactly how the web works too. If you're going to get a link from a website, it's got a lot of endorsements. That means its authority is higher. So that's what we talk about when we talk about authority. And then the last thing is we want a website that's never been used as a bad neighborhood. Because the internet is 20 years old, you can buy domains that have had different sites on them throughout the history of time. So good examples can be websites that now are legit, but 5 years ago they were used for porn or gambling or Viagra, and I see that a lot. You got to make sure if you're going to acquire a link from a site that it has not been used as a bad neighborhood in the past. And you can use a software called Wayback Machine to search that, and you can see the history of any website. And actually, it's kind of fun to look at your own website, go to Wayback Machine, and plug in your website, and look at what it looked like 10 years ago versus now. Especially do that if you're going to recommend Dealer Inspire to someone. Show them your website from 10 years ago and show them your website now and go, look what Dealer Inspire did for me. All right. That was kind of funny. All right. Let's see. You can also, this is that website I'm talking about, ahrefs.com. That's where you can check your own authority. It'll show you what your authority is. All right. I'm trying to monitor the comments. I know there's some funny ones in there. All right. Sending website relevance. So we talked about the website that's sending you a link. We talked about its authority and what that means. Now let's talk about the sending website's relevance. So let me just put this in a nutshell for you. I'm a Chevy dealer, and so if I got a link from let's say I'm a Chevy dealer in Tampa, Florida. If I get a link from a landscaper in California, does that mean anything to me? No. There's absolutely no reason why I should have a link on my Chevy dealership in Tampa from a landscaper in California. Even if it was Bob Vila's landscaping, who is the most authoritative landscaper ever. I don't know if Bob Vila is, but if he was, even if it came from him, he is not relevant to me, so that link, it's not worthless, but it is definitely devalued because there's no relevance between the links, and Google looks at that and goes, that doesn't make sense, that's not natural. So it devalues the link, and too many of those can hurt you. So that's why we want to obtain links that are, number one, perfect niche relevance. By the way, a niche is like an area that you work, or it's also known as a vertical. So most of your links should come from something that has the same vertical as you. That's the perfect niche relevance. And you all have the perfect link. Every one of you that's a new car franchise, you have a link from your OEM. That is the perfect link. And by the way, if you don't have a link from your OEM, it's one of those things that can maybe work a little bit differently for you. So you definitely want to have a link from your OEM somewhere to your web property. The other thing to do is to make sure that it's the same. I just pulled up this one here. You can see that the address, the name in Google is Sun Toyota and Scion, but the name on Toyota is Sun Toyota. This isn't the worst ever, but you definitely want to have things the same. In other words, if the OEM's listing is different than your listing, that can actually be a sign of non-relevance or non-authority. It can be a little bit of a sign against you. The other thing is also the way everything is listed. It needs to be exactly the same. You can see here that the address is 3001 U.S.Highway 19, but in Google it's 3001 US-19. That right there should be corrected. Whatever is the correct address, both of these listings should be exactly consistent. Same with the general phone number here is different. That is definitely not a good thing. You want to make sure your Google listing and your OEM listing have the exact same phone number. Now, a lot of questions I often get are, well, what if I want a tracking number on my Google listing? And I'm going to tell you it's best practice to use your real number for your OEM and the same real number for your Google listing. Reason being, because I only like to use tracking numbers in somewhere that I can make a change. So let's say that you do have a tracking number on your Google profile and you end up getting 10,000 calls from it. Well, what can you really do to improve that? You can't. You can't change the Google listing. So it's not like the tracking number can do anything for you. You can't make it better. So in that case, let's just use the best practice, which is to use your real local phone number in all of your listings like that. All right, so that's perfect niche. You all have it. You want to make sure your perfect niche is the same across everywhere. Now, you can also get links from close niche, though. A close niche would be like I showed you guys earlier, that link from Autoblog. Autoblog is not about Toyota, but it's about cars. And so that's a close niche relevance link, and that's still super important. That's awesome. The next one is, to me, the one that most of you on this phone have the best chance of getting and actually the best opportunity for, and that's hyper-local relevance. So if I'm the Chevy dealer in Tampa, Florida, and I sponsor the local baseball team, local Little League team, and I can obtain a link from their Little League baseball site, then that is what we call hyper-local relevance because they're also in Tampa. And that's pretty cool, and that's a nice piece to add to your link profile are those hyper-locals. So basically, anybody that you work with in the local area, there should be some way you can get a link on their site. And it's not a spammy thing, and it's not about link gaming. No, it's about, look, we love that we sponsor the local baseball team. You know, we got people that come out, or one of our kids' sons plays on the team itself. So you have one of your folks in house or your agency write a press release about that, or a blog about it that gets posted on the Little League team's website blog. Why? It makes sense, right? You guys are a major sponsor. Your name is on the T-shirts. It makes sense they'd write a blog article about it. So those are all very natural things and natural ways to get those hyper-local links. And there are tons of ways to do that. Lastly, are local directories. There are a lot of companies out there that will say, we'll get you 5,000 directory links for $10. Those are garbage directories. They're all based out of India. Those sites are horrible. We're looking at local niche directories, like your local chamber of commerce that lists that. Or if you have a local newspaper site that has local listings like that on it. Anybody local, the local Convention and Visitors Bureau may have like a list of businesses. Those are local directories, and those are also very good directory type links that are very safe and something you can get. All right. Let's talk about the OEM link real quick. I would like all of you to check this. So go to your OEM, search for yourself, and then when you do see the link that says dealer website, just hover over it and look down in the left here and see what it looks like. This case is good. What I see here sometimes is your website might sit on the www, but their link will be the non-www. That's not the worst thing in the world. We put what are called canonical tags on your site that take care of that. But still, this is one of those things, just to button up if you can. I've also seen these where they had an old website platform, and it was like suntoyota.com/HTML or something like that. And now their new site just sits on suntoyota.com. You want to just get with your OEM and fix that and make it exactly what your website is. Again, on Dealer Inspire, we've got canonical tags in that take care of that anyway, but if you can button it up, it's just a good thing to do. All right, where am I at here? There we go. Now, the next thing. So we looked at website, sending website authority. We looked at, what was the next thing we looked at? Sending website relevance. Now let's look at the on-page text relevance. So let me make sure you guys understand. Google does not index websites. And when I use the word index, you have to think of index just like a library. You can go to a library and you can use the Dewey Decimal System and you can go to the index cards, right? And you can find things by looking through the index, and then you know what aisle to go to. That's what Google does. They index pages across the web, and they put it in their library, and then they serve those up when people ask for them. Websites don't get indexed. Pages do. Websites carry authority, and it's actually the domain that carries the authority, but they index pages. So we want the entire website itself to be relevant to you, or close. But even more than that, we want to really dial in what's on the page itself. So for example, sometimes sites are not niche relevant at the TLD, and the TLD stands for the top level domain. That's one of those party favors down there. If you ever see me at a party, come up to me and go, yo, dude, Al, how's your TLD looking? And I will definitely be impressed.
Oh, God, don't ask him that.
You don't ask me about my TLD. Please don't. You know, TLD, yeah, you know me. That kind of thing. Donnie, I set that one up for you. You didn't even get it. All right. Um, but sometimes though we can't get complete niche relevance, right, all the way through, but we can still have the page be relevant. So I'm going to give you an example right here, and this is one of my tips for you. So this is a radio station website called The Bone. Speaking of TLD, yeah, you know me. I'm going to just let that load while I
They
talk.
get slapped by a FCC or something.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm going to let it load. Okay, there it is. So this is The Bone, and this is a piece of content that is on their website with a couple links here. So The Bone has nothing to do with a Chevrolet website that it's linking to. But The Bone has hyper local relevance because it's a local radio station where the Chevy dealer is located. So that's great. And you can see, and by the way, this radio station does the right thing. They call this a sponsored link here. These links are no followed, so there's nothing dangerous here. But these are still really good links. And what I'm saying is that the words around these links are relevant. This is about the best type of vehicle to tow your boat, which is great for a country website. It's country radio. They want to know about towing their boats. So you can see that we have on-page relevance here, and that's what I wanted to stress. Now, I want to show one other thing, though. There are ways that you can get horrible links that can actually hurt you. I'm going to show you an example of a spam link. This does not link to an auto site. This is a spam website. This site is linking to an old client of mine from a long time ago called My Coupons. I brought them out of spam penalties 2 different times. And what you can see when you go over here and you hover over eBay coupons in the side over here, you can see down here in the left, watch right over here in the left, eBay coupons, it links to My Coupons at ebay.com. This is 100% complete spam link. Couple reasons. Number one, this site has nothing to do with coupons. It's about technology software. The next thing is this is a sidebar link, and it's a sidebar text link. This right here is the quickest way to get yourself in trouble is buying sidebar text links, or even obtaining them, or getting them, or looking at them. This is a bad thing. So that's a horrible link. On-page relevance has nothing to do with that. So that's a bad link. Let me just say this too. I'll stop right here. Every single website on the internet has spam links pointing at it, and you do too. You didn't build them, and you didn't look for them, but they come to you because spammers put out legit links as a way to cover up their crappy spammy links. So everybody's got them, and Google's not stupid, and they know that, and that's why they have things in their algorithm that can trip red flags. They understand that everybody's going to have a few. You just don't want to go out and get them. So if you're looking at your link profile and you see a couple spammy ones, don't get upset, don't worry about it. Unless you did it, then you should worry. All right. Words mean things. Also, the words just before and just after the hyperlink, like the 3 or 4 words before your link and the 3 or 4 words after your link, carry a little bit more weight than the rest of the page. So always remember that too.
Hey,
I don't know
Allyn.
if you guys remember. So, somebody have a question?
Yeah, I do actually. So why does it carry more weight? And this is actually like a legit question, and I'm not being funny. Why do the words before and after carry more weight? Is it like a proximity density thing?
It is. It's about keyword density, and it also is a way. So they added this into their algorithm a few years ago. It's definitely about keyword density, but it's also about, again, like I said, the hyperlink itself talks about what's on the other end of it. But because webmasters, the legit ones, started getting concerned about over-optimizing their anchor text, Google realized that they didn't want to hurt the good guys. So now a lot of webmasters would almost or SEOs would stop getting anchor text links, and they would just always get click here. And Google was like, okay, now you've gone way too far the other way. So they start putting weight just around the link. And it makes sense, right? If I'm going to click on a link, the words leading up to it and after it would probably describe the link. That's why they're so close.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay, now let's talk about different kinds of links. There's an in-content link, and then there's what's called a site-wide link. And back to the party favor, a site-wide link is typically in the sidebar. So next time you come up to me and you want to talk about my sidebar, I'll know that you're really asking me about my site-wide. Okay, so in content is always better. So I'm going to go back to the same link we used before on Autoblog. And you're going to see that these links here are not over here in the sidebar on the right. They're actually in the content itself. Why? Because this guy, Sebastian here, had to write this post, and so it makes sense that as he's writing, he's going to look for references that are going to help the reader. So they're more natural. A link that comes in content is definitely more natural, just logically, because the reason is if I'm a writer, I'm going to use these links to help you, the reader, get more information. And so that makes sense that this right here is an in-content link. And that's going to be more important than one over here that isn't really relevant. Anything that's over here on the right, it's good. It's about Autoblog or whatever, but it's not really relevant to what I'm reading right here, which is specifically about the Nissan Leaf. So whenever you have a chance, you definitely want to get links that are in content rather than sidebar. Now, sidebar or site-wide is devalued, but it's not always bad. I will tell you it's bad if it's text-based, like the spam link I showed you on the last slide. And I keep doing that. The one I showed you on the last slide, where it was eBay coupons and a sidebar, that's horrible. That'll get you in trouble in a second. But a lot of you will get these kind of links here. This is a hyper-local link. This is Gulfster. It's a surfing website in St. Petersburg, Florida. And Cox Chevrolet here is in the sidebar as a sponsor. That's okay, this kind of sidebar link that's an image, because that's what Google expects to see. These are the sponsors over here, right? And it even says sponsors right there. This is very clean. This is a great link. He gets traffic from this. The humans follow this a lot. This is a very clean, solid sidebar link. This one's okay. This one's site-wide, but it's okay because it makes sense. It's in a sponsor area. Sidebar versus site-wide. All right, now let's talk about general mention.
Right, hold on. Don't click anymore, Allyn. Okay.
Don't click anymore?
Wait, go ahead. Now, let's do. Okay, folks. This is for you guys. Put in the comments. Who said this here?
A brand that never gets talked about is not a brand.
All right, folks. Who is it? Let's see. Any comments? They're thinking. I know they're thinking. All right, I'm just going to say, I'm going to give you a hint. It's very handsome. Right, go ahead, Allyn.
It was me, I said.
Look at that.
So, all right, because guys, people talk about brands now. What's the biggest complaint when you go to a restaurant? Is that, well, the kids don't enjoy dating anymore. They sit there two across from each other and their faces in their phone. Well, what are they doing? They're pinging a brand. They're taking pictures of their food at John's restaurant, and they're pinging him by checking in. That's what they're doing. They're talking about the brand. So if you're a brand and no one talks about you, you're not a brand. And by the way, Google will tell you that. You're not a brand, okay? Because of that, this is another thing, and I'm going to show you, we're going to read an actual Google patent in a minute. I know that you're so excited, but I am going to let you read an actual Google patent. It's the most exciting thing of your week. We're going to read one in a minute. All 7 million pages of it. But spammers, they can game links, right? You can build scripts, I used to build them, that will generate thousands of links in a minute. It's very easy to do. Anybody can get links, okay? And don't you do it, and don't you ask me to do it, because I won't. But you cannot game brand mentions. You just can't do it. So it's a great signal that if your brand gets searched, not just searched, but mentioned. Searched is great. If you're a brick and mortar business, you're going to get searches. But are people talking about you? That's what I'm talking about. So I can't have time to go into it too much right now, but we'll send you this out. Here's some really good resources to understanding what brand mentions are. But again, if you're at a party with me and you want to talk, come up to me and go, Allyn, how are your brand mentions going? Or more importantly, how are those implied links working for you? There's a lot of things implied in this webinar. There are a lot of mentions that are also implied links. So implied link, that's a real thing.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of alleged things happening in this webinar too.
There may be. I will tell you guys this. The way that you know that people are talking about you is I want you to Google search Google Alerts. And what I want you to do is set up Google Alerts for your brand's name. All right? Since we're having fun, let's just do it real quick. So all you got to do is go out here and set up Google Alert, just like this. You'll notice I'm actually logged in here. And look at that. Google gives you in their knowledge base, that's what this is called, by the way, the knowledge base. They give you exactly what you need to do. Go to google.com alerts and set it up. Put in your keywords. So if my brand is Allyn's Chevrolet, I'm going to put in Allyn's Chevy, Allyn's Chevrolet, Allyn's Chevy Tampa, blah, blah, blah. By the way, if you want to sell a Chevy dealership in Tampa, let me know, I'll buy it. So that's the whole thing that you're looking for, because now you're going to find not just people linking to you, but people talking about you and mentioning you. And by the way, those Google alerts are a great way for you to find people that are like brand advocates for you that you never knew about. I'm that way. If I find a good restaurant in my town, I will talk about it for days on end because I just love that. I just talk about it. Never has one of those restaurants reached out to me, but if they had a Google alert on their name, they would find out, Jesus, Allyn Hane guy talks about us everywhere he goes online. What you can do when you find, you can tell I'm getting very excited, my voice is starting to go higher now. When you find a brand advocate, somebody that's mentioning you a lot, you could reach out to them and go, my gosh, we see you talking about us all the time, why don't you come in here? Maybe they have a YouTube channel with a bunch of subscribers and you can get some more stuff done there. Maybe they have bazillions of Instagram followers and you can work with them there. That's how you can really get excited right there, is finding people that are brand advocates for you by setting up a Google alert and then reaching out to them and going, you know what, you talk about us, you're awesome, we love you, thank you, what can we do to further this relationship? And that is a great way to get not only more implied mentions, but to grab an influencer and to get them to really talk about you more and possibly even generate some links. That right there is worth the whole webinar, I think. Okay. All right, so let's keep moving though. All right, here it is. Let's read a patent. Anybody that's ever been in a meeting with me, I always like to say I read Google patents on Sunday mornings, and I do, because I really do care so much about what Google does and how, not in a bad way, not to game them. I actually love what they do. I'm like enthralled with it, if you can't tell. I algorithm, and I want to feed it what it wants. So that's why I read these. But I just got one little piece of it here. This is the actual Panda patent, if you've heard of the Panda update. And you can see here at the bottom, the system is the algorithm, determines a count of independent links for the group. But here's where we go. A link for a group of resources is an incoming link to a resource in the group, i.e. a link having a resource in the group as its target. Now you can see why I love reading this. It's just, I love it. Links for the group can include express links, those are backlinks that you know about, implied links, or both. An express link, otherwise known as a hyperlink, is a link that is included in a source resource and the user can click it to navigate to where it leads to. An implied link is a reference to a target source or a citation to the target source, which is included. So that's what an implied link is. It's just somebody talking about you. Google monitors brands. Go to Google Trends and put in a brand, and you will see that Google monitors brands. All right, I think I've hammered that one enough. I'm ready for a party. All right. I hope we're having fun here. All right, so let me give you some link ideas. I've already given you a few, but I'm going to give you more. So you got your official OEM link. Check that out. Google My Business. You know about that already. YouTube Official. This one is becoming more and more important. So in your YouTube channel, you can go back under YouTube/advanced settings. It's in your Creator Studio area. And you can see here you can put in your associated website. They tell us if your channel is associated with another website. They want to know. So you put it in there. This is just my personal one. And then there's a couple different ways you can verify it, which we can help you with if you like. And then it basically makes your YouTube channel, the way I'm going to say this, an extension of your website, because you have officially told Google, by the way, YouTube is a Google product. I think you all know that. You've officially told Google that our presence on the web is www.thelawncarenut.com, for example, and my presence on YouTube is this YouTube channel. The two will cross authority one another. It's also another authenticity signal that you're authentic because you've actually verified your website, because the way you do it is typically through webmaster tools. So I recommend you make your YouTube official. Now, if your YouTube channel contains, I have to be careful I say this, nothing but spammy videos, then I would not do that. I would make sure that your YouTube channel are actually made by humans. Okay? Don't put it to the channel that is, I think you know what I mean. So we want to make sure that every bit of content we put on the website and on YouTube is good human-generated content. Okay. All of your social media platforms, Google will index them. Google wants to see them. I don't care what anybody tells you that social media links are no good. They don't know what they're talking about. Social media platforms matter. Get yourself an official Facebook, probably everybody has that, a Twitter, a Pinterest, an Instagram. I'm not saying you have to update these things every single day, but definitely get them and make sure that they stay live at least once a month. You definitely want to have those because every business does. All right, here's some extras. When you do a media buy, radio, TV, all of those resources, all of those places have websites. I showed you the Bone online was a radio station. Well, they have websites that are typically blogs, but they'll allow you sometimes to put a press release on those. So what you do is when you go negotiate your media buy with a radio or TV station, you say, hey, by the way, we would also like to send you 3 or 4 times a year. Don't do it more than that because you don't want to get crazy with it. But 3 or 4 times a year, we would like to post a press release on your radio station website that's relevant to what we're talking about on the radio or relevant to what we're doing in the community. I've never had a radio station say, oh, you're spending $10,000 a month with us? No, you cannot put a press release on our website 3 times a year. Never had them say no. So we're not buying links there, but what we're doing is we're just using a partner to allow us to get out our press releases, whatever those may be. That's a great way to get hyper-local links. We talked about your sponsorships. If you sponsor the local baseball team or the local dog adoption, those are all things that you can work on with press releases or blog articles. Brand mentions, the ways to get brand mentions are to have contests and things like that. Anything you do grassroots, you want to have people checking in, you want to have people talking about you, posting. You can use hashtags. Another great one is that I'm going to try. I'm looking for somebody to try it with actually. Is a lot of towns will have a marathon. Well, it's pretty cool. You can be a resource for the marathon. And an example would be, and this came up for me because I just moved to St. Petersburg, Florida not long ago, and they had a 5K for a breast cancer walk, and I was kind of looking for, like, where are the best places to take pictures along the route? Like, where are the most picturesque places to get pictures along this 5K? I couldn't find anything. I thought, it'd be cool if I had a client here and I could do the 5 best Instagram spots for the St. Pete 5K. Because that's kind of cool, right? That's a resource. Like, wow, here's 5 great Instagram spots. And by the way, it doesn't have to be for a 5K. How about the 5 best Instagram spots in St. Petersburg or whatever your town is? You can put that on your blog. Because why? Because you're a local business. You can be an awesome resource for your community. And I'm telling you right now, that's the kind of thing that will get shared. The 5 best Instagram spots in your city. And go take pictures there and put some work into it. That's just one example of content that can be shared and shareable and can draw links to you. And then there are opportunities for physical links. That's where I talked about Google Alerts for your brand and finding those brand advocates and reaching out to them and seeing what further opportunities exist with those people. The next thing I want to talk about are your employees. Your employees are the greatest untapped resource that you have, and I'll show you exactly why. This is from Team Toyota. They're up in Northwest Indiana, and one of the things that they do is they highly encourage, in fact, I'm pretty sure in the hiring process, they highly encourage us in the hiring process that people in their dealership share their sales or related things on their personal Facebook pages. Now, I know there's all kind of ways that people can say that won't work, that's dangerous, I don't trust my employees. We need to get that thinking off our plates. All of the can't stuff, that's thinking for someone else. We need the how am I going to do this thinking. What can I do to work it out thinking? That's what we have to do, okay? Everything else will fall in place. Hire people and have them share these things. Look at this guy here, this Eric Melton dude. I don't know who he is. He shared this picture this is on his personal Facebook, and he tagged Team Toyota, and it got 19 likes and 2 shares. I bet you, if you guys are people that share a lot of things like this, if you share these on your personal Facebook or on your business Facebook pages, they probably don't get that much engagement. This one did, though, because he shared it on his personal Facebook page. You have to realize if the average employee of yours has 300 friends, think about the potential of people that can see that. By the way, it's also a brand mention, and then Team Toyota goes and reshares them back to their wall. This right here is the quickest way to gain a lot of mentions and a lot of social links in a very natural and normal way. Also, just because I'll tell you, I have 700 friends on Facebook, okay? And when I moved to Florida, I needed a home inspector. What I did was I went on Facebook and I found a home inspector from Google search. Then I went on Facebook to their page and I was able to see friends of friends that know that home inspector, and I called my friend and asked and got a reference, and that's who I hired. But I would have never known that if she would have never posted that she was affiliated with them in some way. So it's also one of those ways that you can actually find business through your employees and through their networks. There is no link building strategy that can trump social shares through your 100 to 150 employees. So something to think about. All right, let's talk about a bonus here. This is kind of the cool future stuff, and that's the humans. How many of you, by raise of hands in the comments, have seen this right here show up in your Google card, the best times or popular times to show up. Anybody notice that? Showed up about, I don't know, what, 3, 4 weeks ago? So what this is it comes from a few different things. I'm going to jump out here. Where are we at on time? Are we okay, Shawnee?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, you guys can jump off if you're bored. So I am now logged in as me, Allyn. This is very dangerous for me to do this, but I'm logged in as me, and I'm going to search my location history. I recommend all of you do this. Now you'll have to realize, and I'm going to click the very first result here in organic search. You have to realize that my location history is 100% public. I have nothing private. So this is me. This is Google monitoring me. I have an Android phone, and so my Android phone, Android is owned by Google, is hooked right in here to Google Chrome. So everything I do online and offline is pretty much seamless. You can see I travel quite a bit. This is where I've been. But look down here at the bottom. It's got my trips here that I've been on. If you look here at the bottom, though, I've been to 429 places that they've monitored me at. You're going to see a ton of airports: Chicago Midway, Hartsfield Jackson, Napa Valley Marriott. That was a fun one. San Francisco. Allyn, why are they monitoring all of this stuff? What the heck is all this? I'm telling you, it's what I'm showing you on the slide right here. It's this. So what they're doing is they are monitoring when I walk into places, and they can monitor through my cell phone. And they're doing that with dozens of people, and that's how they can tell you what the busiest times are at your dealership, because they're watching the humans physically walk into your dealership. Some of you, that might be scary. Others, that might be, holy crap, that's awesome. Because, by the way, very soon, we're going to be able to do advertising, and it's going to show you when someone clicked on a Google ad and then walked into your dealership, which is the holy grail that we haven't been able to uncover yet. We're not quite there. So, but let's talk about what this means in terms of SEO. In terms of SEO, is if they're monitoring the humans coming in, I've already showed you they're monitoring me. They know my habits. They know where I go. They know what I do. If I came into Tom Gill Chevrolet, they know if I went to 3 other Chevy dealerships that same day ahead of time. They know that I was in those other 3 Chevy dealerships for a half hour, and they know I was in Tom Gill for 5 hours. All of these are signals of authenticity. These are human links. By the way, these reviews here are also human links, and you should get those via cell phones as well, which I've talked about in other webinars. But Google knows the humans. Some humans are influencers, and their presence speaks volumes. So this goes back to, oftentimes I will meet leaders in businesses, and I will talk to them about Facebook and Twitter, and they will say, I'm not on that stuff. I don't do that. You might want to rethink that, because Google is monitoring your human interactions and using your authority as a human to influence others. And in this case, telling me when the most popular times are to show up at this place. That's other humans influencing my experience is what that is. So I would recommend that all of you be social media juggernauts and be juggernauts in your town and leave Google reviews all over your city, because you become an authority. I mean, if you really want to have some fun, Google search this, Google City Experts, which is a thing. See, it's actually called Local Guides now. I'm actually local guide up in Chicago. I need to change it. But look for this, the Google Local Guides. What are they? What do they do? Why does Google want local guides? Local guides are people that, in a nutshell, leave a ton of Google reviews around their city, because a review from a local guide is going to be more important than one from somebody that never left a review. Lots of cool things here. I'm not going to go into it any further, but I hope some of that is starting to jig-jog your memory a little bit here, or get you excited about being a human link, because that's where we're going. All right. Let's just see. Does anybody want to play and run their backlink profile live right now? We can do it. At your backlink profile. You don't have to, but if you do, paste your URL, first one that comes in, paste it in the comments. I will go into ahrefs.com right now, and I'll run your backlink profile and show everybody.
Oh, there we go.
All right, let's go take a look. Weston Kia came in first. All right.
We'll
Live
do
internet.
yeah,
Always fun.
we'll do the other ones. We'll do the other ones in kind of like
Okay, so here it is, ahrefs.com. You can get some stuff for free, but I'm going to sign in. Oh, I got to tell it on. This thing gets scraped a lot. Select all the images, street signs. Okay. The reason they do this is because they get scraped all the time. Okay. All right, we're signing in. Here we go. Site Explorer is right here. And I'm going to paste in your URL right there. Weston Kia. I'm going to search. And here comes Ahrefs, going to deliver some nice information for us. All right. So I'm not going to go into domain ratings, URL ratings, any of that stuff right now. What I'm going to do is go over here to inbound links, which is what we've been talking about. Actually, there's a few things we can look at. You have 1,175 text links, 159 are do follow, and 1,000 are no follow. That's a little bit, that's okay because the no follows are high. I'm going to assume some of those must be sidebar links. When they're no follow, you're okay. But this is your link profile that you have. The other thing you can do is you can go in here to anchors, and this is where we look at the anchor text that you have right here. And so they're very good. So Weston Kia, this is what I want to see. See how this is? This is a very good natural link profile. Nice job. No text is probably an image link. This looks really good. And then look, here are a few links that are good, solid links that you'd want, but you see they're singles, but the majority of the stuff I'm seeing, look, dealership website, good, Interkia, good. We're seeing a lot of good stuff here. So this is a very natural link profile. Obviously, there's improvements you can do anywhere, but what I look for first is something like this, just nice and normal. We can go here to all the links just real quick. And then some other things, there's your YouTube link, good job. Some other things you can do here is you can group them, and I'm only going to look at one backlink per domain, and what that'll do is it'll take out the site-wide links that you have. Showing up, Operation Santa Claus, looks like you guys are sponsoring something. Nice job, good. Better Business Bureau, excellent. There's from your group site probably. Teddy Bear Parade, something else that you did. There's your Foursquare link. Very smart. I didn't mention that one. Thank you, Weston Kia. Everybody should get a Foursquare link. That's a good one. There's Edmunds. There's some of the ones we talked about. There's a lot of links that all of you are going to have common. Edmunds is one. So we're seeing a lot of good stuff. There's Cars.com, Yellow Pages, good. So this is a very nice, healthy link profile. Pamplin Media Group, that looks pretty decent there. So a lot of good stuff going on. So there's what it looks like. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can also look here. You get WordPress links, message board links, that kind of stuff. So you can look at the types of links you're getting. By the way, if there's nothing listed there, it just means they don't have. It's just a typical website. A lot of different cool things you can do. And then you can look here. It looks like you have a .gov and a .edu, which is great. If you guys do look and you see a lot of .edus or a lot of .govs, you should be a little bit concerned. That was an old spam tactic, but everybody's going to have one or two, especially if you sponsor a school district or something. That's great to have. So good. This is a very nice, healthy link profile.
All right. So maybe, Allyn, we can set up some kind of like guidelines, just like you was talking about, like with a couple of, one or two gov or ed is okay, but if a lot is really bad, and just set up some guidelines, like some quick little hotspots to kind of check, and then that way we can everybody can kind of look at their own URLs to kind of get those checked.
Like I said, the biggest thing you want to look for is you want to make sure that your name or click here or website or visit us, that should be the main anchor text that you see. If you see that and that's the first thing you see, you're probably okay. And by the way, I would just say this. It's very rare that I find a car dealership that's had gamed links. Very rare. Because most vendors in our space are honest. Why? Because there's a lot of checks and balances in the auto space. So it's not something I find often. When I do find it, it's rare. But when I work with other niches, like anything to do with credit cards, auto loans, financing, anything with pills and potions, that's where you get into spammy problems.
Well, cool.
Any questions, or what do you want to do here next, Johnny? I'm done.
Yeah, we'll take a couple questions, and while the questions come in, I'm going to kind of just say a few more things. One, just want to remind everybody about the Innovation Awards, December 3rd at Two Brothers Roundhouse. We are, if you check our Facebook page, Launch Digital Marketing and Dealer Inspire. You should, actually, I think it's just Dealer Inspire. You'll be able to see more information on that. So that is awesome. Check it out. It's going to be our 5th annual holiday party, and I've only been to one, and I can't imagine going to 5, because after that one, it's like I'll never, I won't make it out of bed. This is going to be the worst Christmas ever because I had so much fun. So make sure you check that out. Don't see any questions coming in, so Alan, I think you pretty much talked about everything and covered all some good stuff. I know there's a lot of information here to absorb, so I'm assuming you're going to get some emails, dude.
Yeah, let's answer the trivia question.
Oh
So
yeah. I think it was. Well, we know our dear friend Cassie Sneed did not win because she was like the Sandlot, and I was like, "You're killing me, Smalls."
the movie is The Natural, and the way it
Yeah.
relates is because of your natural links. Ha ha.
Sorry, I called you out, Cassie. Love you. Who got it first? Eric. Ryan said it. Ryan. So Ryan wins our love and admiration.
And lastly, you can call me Wonder Boy if you ever see me at a party.
Wonder Boy? No. Okay, so the next webinar, we'll call you Wonder Boy. The next webinar we're going to have is the top 10 list, analytics with Lynette Perkins. She's a Cubs fanatic. We're going to cover all those top 10 questions that everyone has about analytics, the ones that just keep coming up. So that's going to be fun. We're going to do something real fun with that. And um, forgot to thank Alan. Alan, thank you so much, man, for talking with us. Every time you come in, there's always some really cool, fun stuff to check out and look into. And I feel like I really need to up my webmastering game because I'm just like I have a blog and I do nothing. It just sits there. So thank you for teaching.
You're welcome.
Sweet. So yeah, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Next week, as I said, it's going to be Lynette Perkins. She's going to talk about analytics. If you do come up with any questions that you have for Alan, please send us an email. You can shoot him an email at Allyn with a Y, Allyn at launchdigitalmarketing.com. You can shoot them to me at DIHowDoI at dealinspire.com. And we will make sure that we get all that information um, to you. So hey, Alan, that Ahref thing, that AREA, is that has a free profile, right? You can kind
Yeah,
of
you
look
can
some
get
stuff up.
some information for free, but the stuff that you really want, they're going to make you pay for.
Okay, of course. Let's say because I
Yep.
know got some URLs sent in. Maybe we'll have a discussion offline, see what we can do. So thanks everyone. It's 3 o'clock. Got to go. I'm getting looks here, getting kicked out of the room. So thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Look for the surveys in your email boxes, and I will also make sure everyone knows when the webinar is up and running on the website.